Hey guys, welcome back to Twist and Shout. And of course, I'm Shar. And today we're going to talk about porosity. And you may have heard me mention, that I have high porosity hair. And let me just be clear. Disclaimer, I am no expert. I am no naturalist or whatever the term is for someone who studies nature and science and things of this nature. I am just someone who does my own personal study and does my own personal experiments with my hair to try to, figure out what's best for my hair. Now, of course, there are some things that I can neutrally say that can be a blessing to each and every one of you. But please understand that I am a big and a huge advocate for someone to just simply do the work, do the research, and find out what works best for you. Amen. Amen. All right, so back to what I was saying on the topic for today. All right, so this is going to be a little educational, something that I don't want to take for granted because I've been talking about my porosity, mainly because it's new for me. At first, I wasn't too keen on it or I didn't put much effort into it. But like many others, I was so focused on getting that perfect curl that I did not take time to do my research. There are so many terms that goes into natural hair. Like I said, I touched on density, the growth cycle, I touched on that. And now I'm going to talk to you about the porosity. Now, porosity in the most simplest form is just your hair's ability to obtain and hold on to moisture. There's a low end and there's a high end and there's a happy medium. Now, of course, when I say happy medium, I am not saying that this particular group is so much better or greater than the next. I'm not saying that, because we all have hair issues, we all have hair problems, and just like being a Christian, no one should be pointing fingers saying, well, you this and you that and you that, because we had to get to that point. And now that I'm somewhat a little more comfortable talking to you guys about it, I just want to throw my knowledge out there and hopefully it'll be a blessing. All right, so low porosity, which is what my daughter and my son, and I want to say my husband as well, have low porosity hair. And usually with type 4, it is very common. I don't want to say majority because that's what I thought and that's what got me in trouble, but we'll get there in a second. But anywho, low porosity is hair that it takes a lot of hard work and dedication to get the moisture in and to satisfy those hair strands, because the hair shaft is like this, it's closed shut. And you don't want it to be this shut. You want it at least to be raised, at least, kind of meet you in the middle and say, okay, half up, half down, so moisture can get in and out as it is necessary to do so. And then there is the medium or normal porosity, where again, it's more like this, where, okay, it's not too exposed, but as you can see, something can get in and something can get right back out. And then there's the high porosity, which is what I have. And basically the hair shaft is just like this. Like the moisture just go wee, kind of like the roller coaster. Like you just go up, down, and around and have no type of control whatsoever. And that is not good. As much as you would say, oh, okay, so y'all can actually obtain moisture. However, we can also lose it just as fast as we get it. Another characteristic, low porosity hair. This is why at one point I thought that, maybe I was, or maybe I just got moisture trained. But at one point, growing up, I do recall like trying to get being under the shower and trying to get the hair washed for wash day. It did seem like I had to like really saturate my hair for a very long time. But it could also be because I had a bunch of product buildup, or from just not actually washing my hair, because back then it was like, look, if you do every 2 weeks, you're good. And that's what I did every 2 weeks, like clockwork. But now I know better. Now I know my hair is thriving and loves the fact that, hey, we can wash our hair every 7 days, every 5, and sometimes even 4 or 3, depending on what I use or what's in my hair. Like if I'm slitting my hair down a ponytail with gel or something, I may wash my hair in 4 or 5 days because maybe I want to switch my hairstyle, or maybe I'm just tired of the buildup. But that's just me. Okay, so that's the characteristic of low porosity. Like it takes a long time for your hair to get wet, and it takes a long time for your hair to dry. Then there's high porosity, that your hair quickly gets wet. And for me, it could be just a shower outside and my hair would just soak it up and be like, poof, and just be all moisture and wet. And I'm like, or another thing that used to happen to me, I used to have this thing where I used to be so sleepy in the morning and I used to just like go for the shower, right? and didn't even have a shower cap on my head. I used to get in and turn the shower head on and then be like, my hair is wet. And guess what? Just in that quick second, like my hair would be drenched. And it was like, I literally just went and raised my head and my hair is completely wet. And also, usually right after I shampoo and condition my hair, guess what, y'all? My hair is drying up. It is done. And what I have to do sometimes is either with a spray liquid leave-in or just respray my hair with aloe vera juice, like if I want to try to manipulate my hair, because usually if it dry as is without much product on it, it'll be all tangled and intertwined because the curls be all tight and whatnot. So disclaimer, because a lot of people associate how somebody curl looks and say, oh, their curls look juicy, so they must be high porosity. Not the case. Or they don't hardly have a curl, so they must be low porosity. No, that is not the case. And I'm telling you this because, like I said, out of love and out of respect for the natural community, it's better to educate and to warn someone, or better to be safe than sorry. Like, try to look more in depth about the science of your hair instead of trying to match it with someone else or try to go for somebody else's style and somebody else's curl pattern, because you are you. And one thing I had to learn even about myself, because when I first started, my curl, I didn't, like, I was just trying to get it to be smooth looking, let alone have a curl pattern. But now I have successfully, as you can see, for the first time since I've been doing twist out, y'all, I have almost zero frizz. And I untwisted my hair this morning. So I done been outside, and a lot of people say don't just untwist it, but I like this. I like this. It's neat. I still have, you know, a little volume, tad bit, not a lot, but it's a hairstyle. So this is actually happy for me. Now after, I don't know, maybe 2 days, I may actually go in and just kind of, you know, undo it again and make, you know, take the 2 pieces and make 4 or 5, but that will be up to me in due time. But anywho, off topic again. Stay on topic. Porosity. Oh, and then normal porosity. You may notice that sometimes your hair quickly gets wet. It may take a little while, not too much. Or maybe you have like a half and half where your hair may take a long time to get wet, but it quickly dries. Or your hair may not take a while to get wet, and it takes a long time to dry. Because I have those moments too. Like, yeah, my hair hurry up and get wet, but then it won't hurry up and dry either. Like, it just, your hair can sometimes be all over the place. Something else that I learned just last year, your porosity can actually change. And another disclaimer, because a lot of people say your hair must be chemically damaged if you're high porosity. That's not the case either, because see, I did used to get perms. I used to get perms a lot, especially when I was doing it myself. Like, I would try to hit that every 6-week button like clockwork, like perm time. And guess what? My hair was damaged and suffered. But a lot of people associate, again, the damage from chemicals with high porosity, which sometimes that is true. People who dye their hair or color their hair tend to be more on the high porosity side. But again, we're trying to avoid making things like absolute, like, okay, you absolutely must have heat damage or chemical damage because you have high porosity, because that's not the case. Now, and also, because I saw someone even said that they shaved their hair off and it grew back the exact same way. And it's like, you know what? Some things are just pretty tricky that way. Some things, like, you just have to find out the hard way. And it sucks that you have to cut your hair off just to realize that it's the same texture. But just more motivation when you say, okay, let me actually learn my texture. Let me actually do what's best for this particular hair type. Now, I was natural 8 years ago now. And then I wasn't too much invested in it, but I am now because I actually make my own DIY stuff. But for the people who, you know, are new and they're saying, man, I don't know who, what, when, and why, I'm telling you, terms to actually look into. Like, don't try to hurry up and just go get some products. Don't try to hurry up and copy or mimic somebody else. Like, learn about your density. Learn about your porosity. Learn about your hair cycle if you can. I know they're probably a little harder to track, but you know what? With a little effort, you might can determine some things. Like, for example, me, I'm anemic. So my iron, my blood level is not, you know, up to par. So I may have a little more hair shed than the average because my blood is not circulating how it's supposed to be. Whereas somebody could be a hothead, literally, like you could like literally feel your head being hot and your blood just circulating and working like clockwork, and your hair just may be flowing all the time. But to each, everybody's different. And nobody should be bashing anyone for the lack of knowledge. Like, if you have any questions and concerns, please comment below. I will definitely talk to you. Even my email, I will try my best to remember to put it down there, because y'all know I be forgetting and I be moving too fast. But I'm going to try to do best in the future. But high porosity hair tends to do very well with the moisture. It just doesn't know when to stop and say, hope, that's enough. So it'll take in all the moisture and the hair strands are raised, which is why, because I want to say too, because a lot of people associate frizz with being dry. That is not true. Or I say this, for my hair, that is not true, because even when my hair was frizzy, it was moisturized. It's just that it just takes all the moisture it can, including from the atmosphere and the product, and it just swells up and it gets big. Because normally, as you can see, my hair is it's not thick. I have hair. It's not like that until it gets old and frizzy. But again, when you touch it, it's moisturized. One other thing, or I think it's one other thing. Also going to mention the fact that products now have actually made it a little easier for you guys. They actually like made label for low porosity hair, for high, for porosity repair. Like you actually have labels and designated groups of products for certain people. So that makes it a lot easier for you guys. Whereas back then it was just like, okay, it's one for all. And we know that one does not make everybody happy. Like even for me making my own oils now, like I'm starting to experiment. Okay, what's actually going to do good for my daughter? What's going to do good for my son? What's for me? What's for my husband? Because we all seem to have different hair types and our scalps tend to behave differently, or even my sisters. So do your research, do your math. And I'm trying to make sure I actually told you everything. Oh, testing. How do you determine your porosity? There's the way that I say, man, I don't know if I mean, a lot of people say, yeah, it works. But I think every time I tried it, I got a different result. And that's the water test. Like just a clear cup of water, a nice, clean, fresh piece of hair from the shower. You can test your porosity with, I believe there's two different types of tests. One that is most common is the glass water test, where you get a clear glass of water and you pretty much get a clean piece of hair from the shower when you're washing your hair, and you put it in the water, like you just drop it in the glass. If it floats, you're low porosity. If it slowly makes its way down, you're normal. And if it just sinks to the bottom pretty fast, within I think it's like a 3 to 5 minute span, then you know you have high porosity. And I want to say that the first couple times I tried the test, my hair tends to just slowly sink. Then I tried it again, and I don't even think I kept a timer on it, but I just remember saying like, damn, my hair is at the bottom of the glass. But I would say, based on characteristics that I mentioned, I definitely am high porosity. I have not tried the glass test in a long time. I think it's been like 2 years, so I don't know. Maybe I should try a new one to see what's going on. But I'm happy. I feel like, as y'all can see, my hair is a little more manageable now. The only thing that I'm concerned with is the single strand knots that I get with the shower, but it tends to correlate with the products. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So if you want to see how I obtain this look, these twists that are nice and neat, watch my last video. And if you have any questions, concerns about your porosity, or what you need to determine it, or if you have, I don't know, like I said, there's another test out there that I do not remember what it is. Like I'm sitting here like, what is the porosity test, the other test? I don't know. I can't remember right now. But question, concerns, comments, comment below. What are you guys' porosity like? What do you have? How do you determine it? What products do you feel like is catered to the fact that you have the low or the high? Are there any medium porosities out there? Like, you can test your porosity with, I believe there's two different types of tests. One that is most common is the glass water test, where you get a clear glass of water and you pretty much get a clean piece of hair from the shower when you're washing your hair, and you put it in the water, like you just drop it in the glass. If it floats, you're low porosity. If it slowly makes its way down, you're normal. And if it just sinks to the bottom pretty fast, within, I think it's like a 3 to 5 minutes. I have not tried the glass test in a long time. I think it's been like 2 years. So I don't know. Maybe I should try a new one to see what's going on. But I'm happy. I feel like, as y'all can see, my hair is a little more manageable now. The only thing that I'm concerned with is the single strand knots that I get with the shower, but it tends to correlate with the products. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So if you want to see how I obtain this look, these twists that are nice and neat, watch my last video. And if you have any questions, concerns about your porosity or what you need to determine it, or if you have, I don't know, like I said, there's another test out there that I do not remember what it is. Like I'm sitting here like, what is the porosity test, the other test? I don't know. I can't remember right now. But question, concerns, comments, comment below. What are you guys' porosity like? What do you have? How do you determine it? What products do you feel like is catered to the fact that you have the low or the high? Are there any medium porosities out there? Like, I know that it's very rare, and I mentioned to you guys, I know that the medium porosity is rare. So I mentioned to you guys that sometimes I do feel like that I kind of tip in the middle, like it's not too low, not too high, it's just right. But it tends to, like I said, when it does move or changes, it tends to go to the high porosity end. So like I said, okay, disclaimer, because like I said, people tend to put all type 4 people with low porosity, and type 3 is seen as high porosity. But like I said, I am living proof because I am type 4. Y'all know I'm type 4 and I'm high porosity. So do not just judge by the curl. Please don't. But I love you guys. God bless. Take care. Bye.